Hi, Diederik Gelderman here. Welcome to today's blog, and it's really good to catch up with you. Over the last few months, over the last 8 weeks actually, we've been videoing and filming from all sorts of different places, all the way through from the streets of LA to the Colosseum at Rome. As you can see today, we're inside and not as interesting as usual. And the reason for that is of all the fires we've had in the Southern Highlands over the last few weeks. And there's massive smoke and wind and all those sorts of things. So that's why we're inside today. So thank you for your understanding on that. On this short section today, first of all, I've got some free stuff that we're going to give away. The second thing is I've got some strategies to share that's going to show you how to increase your practice net by $27,500 really quickly. And there's some really exciting and information to share. So there's a little bit to go through, and I'm still going to keep it as short as possible. So as you undoubtedly know, and as I said a couple of seconds ago, over the last 8 weeks I've spent a fair bit of time working in and travelling in the States and in Europe, sharing lots of information with veterinary practice and veterinarians from all over. And it was interesting to me that early on in the trip, as I was being introduced at a number of venues that I was working with and groups that I was working with, I heard myself being introduced as the veterinary practice turnaround specialist, the veterinary practice turnaround specialist. And that really rung a chord and stuck with me, because that's really my focus, and that's really what I'm interested in, and people kept referring to me like that over the whole trip. So you may actually hear that a little bit more from now on. So I'm just sort of giving you a heads up on that. Over the last few weeks, we've received a lot of feedback from the videos and the blogs that I posted for overseas, and the feedback that I got was that all the information was great information, but typical of me, there was far too much of it. There's far too many things that I gave you to do. There were far too many templates, too many strategies, too many worksheets. They were all fantastic, and the feedback came, where do I go? What do I do now? Where do I start? And I guess that's my problem. I get so over enthusiastic and so excited that I tend to overwhelm people with just the amount of material that I have that I'll make available. So what I've decided to do for you based on that feedback is to give you an early Christmas present, as it were. And I've taken that information from the last 8 weeks and I've picked the eyes out of it, I've consolidated it, I've condensed it down to 4 key strategies, 4 key areas, 4 solid blocks. And I've put a worksheet and a summary and a webinar series around that. And together you and I we'll work through those 4 strategies step by step, unit by unit and strategy by strategy, and we'll share these on an upcoming 90-minute live webinar, video presentation, online training, whatever you want to call it, and that's on next Wednesday night. Now, to make it really super easy for you to implement this material, I've put together a step-by-step worksheet, and we'll work through that worksheet on the webinar. Now, so you'll have everything on paper and be able to go and implement it directly. To make it even easier, I've scheduled that webinar to go live 3 times during the day. So I'm in Sydney, so in Sydney or Australian Eastern Daylight Time, it'll be 7 a.m. in the morning, it'll be 11:30 in the morning, and then it'll be 7:30 at night. In the email that you've clicked on to get to this video, again, to make it super easy for you, we've put the time zone conversions in. So there's the time zone conversion for South Africa, for Pacific Time USA and for Eastern Time USA. Now, there'll be links there. All you need to do is click on the link and register for that series. Excuse me. I've still got that cough that I've had for 6 weeks. Now, there will only be 100 spots available on those webinars. So what I'm going to urge you to do is either pause this video now and go to that email and click on the link and register, because I know those spots are going to be booked out, super quickly. Or finish the next 2 or 3 minutes of this video and then go and click that link. Now, based on my one-on-one, inner circle students, coaching clients, whatever you want to call it, based on their implementation of these strategies, how quickly they can make them work, and the income and the return they get from them. I've done, my calculation and my numbers, and at the beginning of this section, if you remember, I said I've got some strategies to share that are going to give you $27,500 by Christmas, and that's where it comes from. So when you implement this material step by step, as easy as it's going to be, you will be able to conservatively increase your practice net, your practice profit, by $27,500 by Christmas. So, conservatively, 2 months. So it's really worthwhile coming online for that training and implement these strategies. Once again, the registration link is in the email. Go there now. Click the link now. Register now. There are only 100 spots available, and I really hate you to miss out, because I know they're going to go really quickly. Now, again, based on the material from the last 8 weeks, and maybe even a little bit longer than that, there's been lots of requests from people saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? So, for example, how do I convert my inquiry phone calls to clients coming into the practice without dropping my price? How do I calculate how much I should invest in acquiring a new client? How do I work out the lifetime value of a client? How do I work out how long a client stays with me? How do I increase my vaccination recall rate to 85%, which I know, Dick, is what you're typically getting with your one-on-one coaching client. So based on all those questions, I'm putting together, and I've already started to put together, a whole series of how-to videos. They're all going to be 3 to 5, maybe 7 minutes long, but that's about all the length's going to be. The areas are going to include things like work-life balance, motivating staff, a hiring system, marketing, client customer service, leadership, practice management, finances, etc. They're all going to be how-to, okay? Simple steps. A lot of them will have step-by-step worksheets associated with them as well. So you listen to the video for 3 to 5 minutes, and you implement the strategies by step, and they'll be ready there for you to roll out. Now, I've started working on these already. They'll start to come through early in the new year, so watch out for them. They'll be emailed out on a weekly basis. So every week you'll receive a new strategy. They'll also be available on the website, and that'll be a new website we're creating to be able to host them, because our current website can't do that. And obviously they're also going to be available on our YouTube channel. And now on to the last thing, and that's today's blog, which obviously I'd really encourage you to read. A blast from my past, and maybe for you as well. Undoubtedly you've heard of Stephen Covey, or Covey, however you like to pronounce that, and he wrote a very successful book called the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Well, I've written a little article sort of a la Stephen Covey, and it's called the 7 Habits of Highly Joyful People. So that's the first thing in today's blog. The second thing is, over the last few weeks I've been writing about how you don't need money to motivate staff. And if you haven't yet watched the Dan Pink, either TED or YouTube link or video on that, and it's Dan Pink, as in the colour pink. I'd really encourage you to watch that. Money actually has been shown to be a demotivator for most veterinary staff, except for the very basic low-level work functions. And I know most of you guys, your guys and gals working in your practice don't do low-level work functions. So if it's anything more than a low-level work function, the things to motivate them are purpose, autonomy, mastery, and recognition. And I'll say again, don't try and motivate them with money. It doesn't work. Now, the characteristics of a high-performing team, which is what I know you want to have or be part of, are really developed with those things and through recognition. Very easy for me to say, but a lot of people come back to me and say, Dick, I don't know how to recognise my staff. How do I do that? So there's an article on recognition. The second article is on recognition, how to do it, how to perform it. And by the way, that's one of the big things we'll be talking about at the last two-day Turbocharge Your Practice workshop that's on in Sydney. This video is going out on Thursday. The workshop is Friday, Saturday. If you want to come along, there's still 2 places left. We can still fit 2 people in. Email me on DGE at turbochargeyourpractice.com, or hit reply to this email and you'll get through to Michelle, and we'll do a last minute registration for you. You're going to show up on Friday morning and you'll learn. We'll be spending about half a day on this stuff. So that's the recognition article. The third article that I've put together is a really simple, fun one, and I see so many practices that don't have a website yet. And, you know, realistically, websites are the #1 way that veterinary practices are gaining clients these days. You know, Yellow Pages are way out of the ballpark. They're down to 7%. Websites are up at, 50, 60%. If you don't have a website, I'm sorry to say, you're not in the game. So I've put together a very simple 9 steps to a simple practice website. A practice website should cost you no more than $1,000 tops. You can do it as a WordPress site. It's easy to do, and this article will help you through the key steps of that. So look at that and get yourself a website. Again, Michelle will be presenting a section at this training on Friday, Saturday on social media /website. So if it's something you're interested in, come along for that. Even if you come along for one day, that'll be the second day, the Saturday, if it's hard to organise a locum or a relief vet at such short notice. If you need a more high-end website, what I'd suggest you do is contact a friend of mine, a good friend of mine called John Whiteley. He runs a business called bizblueprint.com. That's biz, B-I-Z, blueprint.com from WA, Western Australia. You'll find him quite easily on the net. But I'm not suggesting you need a high-end website. Start off with a really simple $1,000 website and build up from there as you need more. The last article is just a really fun article. I found it on the net. It sort of piqued my interest. It's how people are starting to watch and how you're enabled to watch your dogs at home or wherever they are using technology. And I won't say any more about it than that. It's just a little bit of fun. It'll quite, I'll say, shock you in a nice way as to what's currently available to, keep an eye on your dogs and cats at home and see what they're doing while you're away. Last thing, once again, can I really, really, really strongly encourage you, as soon as you get off listening to me in 10 seconds, go to the registration link, register for one of those 3 online trainings. They're totally free. It's not going to cost you anything. And it'll be a 90-minute webinar. As soon as you register, you'll receive the link and the worksheet, and make sure that you attend. 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday. And The conversions to your own time zone are available, on the email. So 100 places only. Get in, do yourself a favour, implement the strategies, get an extra $27,500 in your pocket before Christmas, give your wife or your boyfriend or your partner or your husband or your kids a wonderful Christmas gift, and do something joyous with it. See you next time. Thanks.